Hello YouTube, I'm Lorien, and for those of you who don't know who I am, I'm a witch, crystal healer, tarot reader. I teach meditation and I also like my fair bit of astrology on the side too. I'm currently exploring a first batch of YouTube videos, so you greet me at the birth of this channel really, and I'm going to do the May reading for lovely Leo. I apologise that it's just images of the cards and me nattering away, but there should be, fingers crossed, some video of me greeting you by the time I get to the June readings. But for now, unfortunately, it's just my iPhone recording me and the pictures that I've taken of the cards. So the reading in general will cover various topics as I get the messages from guides, intuitive flashes, general insight into what seems to be coming up. But if for any reason those messages don't actually resonate with you, that's absolutely fine. Perhaps you're on a different frequency this month and you might get something a bit later on or even for further months ahead. And if you'd like a custom personal reading with me, I would love to read for you, maybe get a more unique insight into your own energies. Please do check out the ways to contact me below. But in the meantime, we can look at the general feel for Leo as a whole, and I'm just going to start the reading for you by shuffling the cards. Okay, Leo, there's a very interesting batch of cards here for you. So the first four, one card represents approximately a week of energy for the month ahead, and the one underneath actually shows the energy overall. So I'm just looking at these cards and it seems to be kind of ups and downs for you in general. The King of Swords to start with, I would imagine, is somebody outside of you. So being, I would say, relevant to more of the air signs, so Libra, Gemini or Aquarius. And if they're not actually a physical person in your life, I would suggest that this may be a period where you're looking at things a bit more analytically. I think maybe you may be tempted to think only about how things affect you personally. So I feel like this is most often than not something where you may have to put your analytical head on, your calculating head on, be strong and steadfast and stubborn in some way. In general as well, I think it's kind of a time for forceful energy. You may need to change something about your behaviour, thoughts, expectations, that kind of thing. Or maybe because of this gentleman around you in your life, actually, they may be actually pushing you to really look at yourself and figure out exactly what it is you want to do. It could be pressure at work. I'm getting a very strong sense of this being in your work environment, and he in general may behave or talk to you in a way that you find bothersome. It could be a very sensitive time for you, Leo. He's just doing his job. But yeah, sometimes he seems to overstep the mark. I'm getting this as a very aggressive kind of influence here. If it's not yourself, which some of you are likely to be going a bit more of the Gemini way of being a good communicator, but, you know, shutting off emotions in some way. For a majority of you, this card is about somebody else in your environment that's not being very nice. So if you're looking for work, and this person seems to be very dominating or domineering over what you do, keep looking, because he won't be an influence for you very long. This week seems to be quite a very prominent time for you to escape this man's influence or kind of move away from his opinions. He seems to have a lot of opinions and he doesn't mind lording it up over people, so his energy here is very temporary as far as I can see for you. He doesn't seem to be very much a people person at the moment. You might have actually seen a different side to him this time. So I would just say ignore him, really. He's not really going to be there for much longer, because here we have the wonderful card of Ace of Cups as your second week. It's very powerful, it's a positive omen, and in general it does lead to happiness, affection, it's new beginnings, but I feel like it's not just romance that you have in it, it's more of an emotional relief. It's kind of if you get out of this, either the behaviour that you've exerted that's like the man before, masculine energy if you're a lady, or just general male influence if you're a guy. If you come out of that phase, if you come out of that sort of behaviour, or out of that man's influence, it's a very good time for you, because it can signify renewal, relief, release from any negativity around you. You're going to have the opportunity to respond with happiness, more than usual, than perhaps you've experienced recently as well. It's a good time to feel good, and it's also a good time to make friends, new connections, because this can also signify promotion or the new job. If you've been looking for a new job, and if you're already employed or still employed with that person around you, the tides are turning, your work is being appreciated, and that person's opinion is now falling away. It's kind of new opportunity for you to show how you shine and let that Leo pride radiate through, making your kittens purr, that kind of thing. So there are opportunities here, they're out there, you just have to look and see where they are. The next card that we have here is the King of Wands. So this, I would imagine, is you just coming into your own. With this particular card and the way it looks, I normally refer to this as an Aries energy, even though mostly people say it's a Sagittarius energy. But for the purpose of this reading, it's come up as a fire sign, so I'm just going to read it as you. It almost kicks in with the wisdom and the warmth that you have, Leo. And actually, with it being in the third week, I feel like you will have to exercise a little bit of that warmth and a little bit of that generosity because of the Mercury going retrograde. This would be very hard for you if you didn't know how to handle it, because it could affect communications, it could affect technology. Oh, it will really mess with technology. I'm half tempted to do all the June videos before. But in general, I do feel that it's in a positive position. Again, it doesn't have to represent a literal individual. It could be just something that you need to feel like you can support yourself, think well of yourself, possibly harness that ambition and be goal-orientated. You do have the passion and the creativity and the energy to accomplish what you have in mind, because I think that you're going based off this emotional renewal that the Ace of Cups gives you. You can think positively now, and I do feel that if it is a man that's in your life, you can trust him. And I think on the opposite side, if it's you trust yourself. Sometimes people may not know how to handle your energy, or they may not know exactly where you're coming from or your passions or anything like that. But I feel if you just conduct yourself as you normally do, if people think that you're different or it's out of the norm from the way other people do things, just welcome that, because you don't really want to be amongst the pride in many ways. Overall, I feel like it should be going very well work-wise, generally, and if home relationships as well, and your identity maybe coming back a bit more, actually getting back into who you are. You're expressing yourself with the fire that Leos have come to be commended for. I know a lot of Leos, you're all very lovely and warm. You do have a sense of licking your wounds sometimes when your pride is hurt, or the ego thing, but to be honest, I don't see that here. There's a very positive outcome that's coming through for you. You may be feeling a bit protective over something, or that caring side comes over in kind of the sheltering, automatic sheltering nature. It's the start of something, of a passion. It's the renewal again that's coming through for you in every area. And also it leads into the Knight of Swords. So this is a cheery, upbeat energy. It might give you a little extra kick. You could be seeking out something, you're not going to be patient, and this kind of fuzzy energy, and the fact that you're settling into your skin a bit more, now you can go out and get there. And the Knight of Swords does point to physical, emotional energy, spirituality as well, being at a peak. You're not going to be wanting to wait around, and if there's any news that's coming, I do feel like it's going to be a positive spin on it. It could point to a lot of activity as well. You may feel like travelling, being out and about, getting things accomplished. Again, watch out for the Mercury, because with that being retrograde, it can mean that you or your ideas come across differently to other people as to how you intend them. So you could be like, oh, this is great, and people turn back at you and don't see the big deal. And it's kind of still a point here to go after your heart's desire, because a job that, may be something that you've wanted for ages comes up. A person that you've wanted to speak to or connect with, they may be more receptive to you. It doesn't necessarily mean, now that's what I was saying before about the positive aspect of, going into it if you know what to look out for with Mercury retrograde. It doesn't mean that everything's going to crash around. Other people may be viewing you in a slightly different way anyway, because you may be getting so much accomplished that you start to make them look bad. It's mostly their problem, but just don't lord it over them. Don't go ha-ha, it's that kind of balancing thing, which I'm sure that you'll be able to do, really. It's not something that's going to be negatively against you or anything like that. And underneath it all, so rounding off the month, yes, very burst of activity. It's going to be interesting to see how that starts off June for you. But overall, you got the Page of Wands. And again, it can be a person. I feel it's more feminine energy. And I feel that this is kind of underlying your ambition. You're a high achiever. At the beginning of the month, I feel like you're stifled. You're forced into a role which is not you. You're forced into a habit of being which is not you, because of this either other person and this conformity of the business, or perhaps it's just you and how you feel inside. But there is definitely a time here to stay focused and on the end goal, because it's a case of releasing that, and things that maybe you started some time ago and have abandoned, is time to pick that up. A book, a painting, a project, self-employment, maybe even a change of career entirely. I feel some of you might be drawn to the medical profession, and maybe if you haven't actually looked into doing more with that, maybe now's the time, because it's the time for new adventures, approaches, ideas. You're getting this energy, but it's up to you to actually see it through. So it's not like you can just say, okay, yeah, I accept the good things coming to me. You have to work for them as well. And you are going to get support. I do see this as a very supporting energy. It's something that's very good in regards to having the people around you that are necessary. Your vibe attracts your tribe. In many ways, you're going to be drawing people to you who feel more about things than you do. You're going to have a circle of friends now that understand a bit more as to where you're coming from, or at least you'll be filtering out those who don't. So it feels more like a unit to you, and you're more secure. And in many ways, you will be sort of harbouring this good energy to use as well. So you're not going to be using it all at the same time. You're still going to be storing some back for later on in the year. September seems to be quite interesting for you, just as an aside. But all in all, it's very good, Leo. It's a kind of jumping out of this oppressiveness and making sure that you can put your own stamp or your own paw print onto your path and stride ahead. And I am actually looking very much forward to doing the June reading for you. Again, if you want to have a personal look at where your life's heading, if you have any questions in particular that you'd like me to go through, don't hesitate to contact me. I'd love to work with you and see exactly what's happening in a reading for you. I've got Etsy shop links and things down below. But in the meantime, do take care, you lovely Leos, and I will be speaking to you soon.